I believe that the UK controls Canada. Canada is nothing. We aren't a real country. I read the Constitution.
Right.
1967.
Right.
We are controlled by the fucking UK, dude.
Controlled in what sense?
Controlled in the sense that
our head of state is the Queen of England, or
everything that goes through our politics goes to the UK. You go to court, you pay for the lawyer. They swear on the President of England. The lawyer of the other side fucking swears on the President of England. The judge swears on the President of England. Everything fucking depends on the UK. We're not a real country.
I don't know if everything depends on the UK.
It does.
Right?
We're not a real country. We're a fucking slave state.
I do agree with you to the extent that, like, I don't think we should have any connection to the UK whatsoever.
But we do.
Which we do.
Can't get rid of it.
Like, it's very strange. Like, I remember growing up, going to school here, we were told in school, we're the most democratic country in the world and this and that. I'm like, how can you honestly say that when
exactly.
your head of state is the unelected monarch of Great Britain? It's an incredibly strange statement.
I know. It doesn't make sense. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. So
we are a slave state to the UK.
It's not just that. Like, just the idea of monarchy, I think it sounds...
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
In, like, Western society, which we like, kind of praise the idea of, working for a living and, earning your dues or whatever, everyone's equal before the law and this and that, it kind of doesn't make sense to have a group of people who are born into royalty and their livelihoods are
exactly
supported mainly by the taxpayer dollars, or
they're fucking born into it.
It's weird. Like, some
what?
people will make the excuse of, like, the royal family actually makes more money than it does from taking in taxpayer money because of all the tourism revenue that's generated.
I understand.
I'm like, all right, sure, but like, I could also take the Queen's spot, and I would generate just as much tourism money as she would, perhaps, right? It makes no sense why she gets that position just because she was born into it in a society like ours.
You buy a property in Canada.
Right.
You own the property in Canada. But
right.
You still pay income tax.
I know, right?
Like, you're still paying the Queen. For what? Like, just to have the right to own the land?
To the Queen, but...
It does. It does. It literally does.
Okay.
Like, everything you pay is directly forwarded to the Queen. We are literally... This is the most crazy slave state ever created. Canada is nothing but a slave state for the Queen. Look into the Constitution.
I get where you're coming from, but I don't think that's actually a thing.
It is, though. We aren't real, dude. We're literally just slaves for the Queen.
She's like the highest, like, I get it, she makes her laws and stuff, but like, at the end of the day, the whole population has a say in it.
It doesn't really matter,
but
though.
Like, honestly, I think the Queen doesn't give a two fucks about what we do over here.
And I think
she's like, I want to deal with my country. You guys, she's like, you want to do this? Yeah, whatever.
We bring in the money for her.
We bring in the produce. She barely cares about what happens in her own country. So
where's Emmy? I want to sleep with Emmy tonight.
I texted Tina and I was like, we need to leave because Avery was fucked.
Dude, I was sitting out there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Fucking cunt.
I told
fucking Wagecuck.
Avery, I told him.
You know the Wagecuck?
The Wagecuck?
Yes.
What is the Wagecuck?
Avery, hold up. Before you start the conversation, I told him that you were really fucked up and we had to leave. Can we go with that story?
Okay, but fuck, dude. I just want to have, like, I don't have sex with Emmy. I just want to sleep with her.
That's fine.
In the
But
comfy
can we
room.
get with that story? That's fine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Alright, so you were telling me about Wagecucks.
You remember that guy who killed himself driving a
I remember that
plane?
guy who killed himself.
The guy who drove a plane and he did a perfect backflip and then landed into the some remote island.
He did a backflip in his car?
Sky King. He was driving a normal plane that was suited for passengers and he did a backflip in it. He thought that was his end, but he survived.
Well, I thought you said he died.
He didn't die. He survived that and then crashed into an island.
Okay. And then died?
was just dumbfounded. The reason he killed himself was his cuck marriage. He was fucked over by the economy. He was a wage cuck, making minimum wage, just doing whatever he could to survive.
Wait, so he's a pilot making minimum.
He wasn't a pilot.
Well, why is he flying the plane?
He wasn't a pilot. He jacked the fucking plane.
He jacked the plane?
Yeah.
And backflipped it perfectly onto the island?
Yes.
Why?
Because he wanted to live, dude. He just wanted to live.
I think
Like the rest
backflipping an
of us.
airplane into...
He backflipped like a fucking cargo plane. Like the planes that you carry passengers in. When you go to like Florida, Miami, like any place.
I would think
like
that's
that.
like a difficult maneuver to pull off.
It really is.
Especially for a minimum wage non-pilot worker.
He fucking loaded bags. He just did it.
Loaded bags?
Yeah, like a bag carrier. Like bags came down the fucking conveyor and he took them and put them in the plane. That's all his job was. Minimum wage.
Okay. And then he
The
hijacked
last thing
the plane?
he wanted to do was he wanted to live.
Okay.
So he hijacked the plane. He said, listen.
And there's
man,
like passengers on the plane at that point?
No
or?
passengers. Just him. He said, I don't want to hurt anyone.
Well, how was he able to, like, you know, get it going? Like, did he have any sort of training? Like, I would think if he sat in a cockpit...
Sort of training as in he played Microsoft Simulator of, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe some sort of airplane simulator.
Yes, there
game?
is. On Microsoft. It's
Okay.
like really fucking old, but it teaches you something. He took that. He was talking to the guy in air traffic control, and he said, listen, man, I played a few video games in my time. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
And he knew what the fuck he was doing. He did a backflip. No one's ever done that before.
Okay.
And he fucking killed himself afterwards. He didn't want to hurt anyone. He proved his point.
But what was his point, and why did he kill himself after making it?
What was his point? That, listen, even though white people might be majority, they still fucking matter, dude. I understand minority matters, but like, white people still has a fucking say in things.
Okay.
We all still matter. Minority, majority, we all still have a say in everything. We all still mean something. Like, look, dude.
Everything
You know how many
alright?
wage cooks are out there? Just a guy, a normal white guy, an Indian guy, a black guy, just doing his job to make his money to pay his bills. Like, we're fucking better than that, dude.
So what do you think is the solution? What should we do to get out of this mess?
Seems fucked up, but like, there's a guy named Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber.
Okay.
He believed that we as humans don't belong in these fucking boxes. We live in these fucking boxes, dude. We really do.
Yeah,
you go home, you live in this fucking box.
How do you get out of the box? How do you...
And then when you're depressed because you're thinking, I don't belong in this fucking box. I belong somewhere else. And then you get medications.
Alright, sure, but let's say one person escapes the box, right? But in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't change anything for the white people or the minorities.
It doesn't matter.
Well, so my question is, how do you get rid of the whole box system, in your opinion?
You can't get rid of the whole box system.
So what do you do?
We're
where
fucked.
do we go from here?
It doesn't matter. We're fucked.
We're fucked.
COVID.
How do we get to this point? How do we become fucked?
Social media, influencers.
But social media and influencers have only been around for what, a decade max, right?
Yeah, but look at how much impact
But
they have on
people
us.
have been in this box that you speak of, doing wage cutting or whatever it is that you're doing.
No, listen. We are
for many,
humans.
many years.
We are humans, just like we are apes. Apes live in the wild. Alright?
Okay.
We belong in nature. We are fucking humans. You think we're designed to fucking drive cars and live in houses? Like, fuck no, dude.
Well, I can tell you this, like, we're probably no longer designed very well to, or I guess equipped very well to be living in nature the way you think.
Exactly. Everybody who's depressed isn't depressed. They're just aware of, like, what the fuck they're surrounded by.
I see.
Like, all these lights, all these buildings, what the fuck?
So you think it's
This isn't human.
So you think it's all this infrastructure around us that's making us depressed?
Exactly. I do believe that. There is some sense in that.
But is there going back? Like,
there is no going back. That's the problem.
Like, I'm sure if you wanted to, you could just go up into some like
I want to move.
town or
listen,
something.
this is my ideal scenario. I want to get rich as fuck, create a business, get enough money so I can move up north, just live on my own, fucking supply for myself. Like, nobody has real conversations anymore. It's like,
yeah, well, a couple things about that. You're saying you want to get super rich. Typically, the way you get super rich in today's society, if not in every society,
infrastructure.
Yeah, you have to be part of the game. Now,
exactly.
The other part of that is if you just want to move up north somewhere and get your own stuff going, like, you don't need a whole lot of money to make that happen, right? Again, if you're living off the land, so to speak, then you don't really need a huge amount of capital to take with you, right? Because what are you buying with that money?
But listen, crown land, right? Crown land.
But I'm sure you can find a
crown land. What the fuck does that mean? You're paying fucking for the queen.
I'm sure
you're paying the right to live on that land. Like, what?
I'm sure you could probably find some chunk of land that no one really bothers to check it too often.
It's just
camp
it's
out
just
there.
absurd to me. Like, why can't we be free people? Like, what the fuck? A gas station? What is that? Bullshit? It's just bullshit.
Hey, gas prices went down because of coronavirus.
Exactly. Like, look at this shit. Look at this shit impacting us.
Okay, here's a question too. Like, if you take the infrastructure away, right?
Okay.
And something like the coronavirus spreads, or starts and spreads, as it totally could, under like a wild society that you speak of, right? If you were living in the jungle like apes or whatever, eating whatever you find, the odds of such a disease starting, I would assume, are higher. Maybe the rates of spread could be different because people wouldn't be as concentrated in small areas. But either way, like, if you take all the infrastructure away, how would you deal with an outbreak like this, right?
An outbreak like this, if I were in a small primal town.
So there's no such thing as a primal town.
Okay.
Right? Apes don't live in towns. They live in,
if I were human,
communities.
out of an infrastructure in nothing but a community, how would I deal with
this?
But
what is in this community of yours? Like,
if there was a virus, you would get rid of those people. They're the weaklings of the tribe. That's how humans work. That's how every other animal in the animal kingdom works.
I see.
The weakling is fucked.
So
you get rid of them.
So you just like kill them or something, or
no? Listen. There was
they
people.
Technically kill off themselves.
There was the people.
Weak, it's not our fault.
Listen, there was the people who moved to the north because there was a tribe in France where there was a weakling, and they said, "Listen, they are mutating. These are mutants. These aren't real human. We moved to the north. These people are banished." So they moved to the north. You know what happened? They fucking died. They fucking died because they weren't worthy.
Here's the question, though. Is
like that's what humans
like
do.
Coronavirus, right? Like, what they're saying is this thing spreads to other people before the person spreading it shows symptoms, right?
Of course.
So by the time the weakling, so to speak, has died, other people in your tribe have also contracted the virus.
Those who
right?
survive.
And assuming that there is no infrastructure, right? No hospitals, no medicine, no none of this stuff other than whatever the tribe has come up with on their own. Odds are nobody who's going to contract this virus is going to survive in that tribe.
Okay.
And if they have contact with some outside tribe, this just, I guess, keeps going and going, right? Depending on what the population is and how these tribes interact.
I understand.
But I'm more curious as to what kind of community you have in your mind that would be ideal.
A utopia, man.
Most people, like the community that you're describing would not be utopian to most people that you go to right now.
Of course.
Right? If I take your phone away for a day, you're probably going to go crazy.
Dude, I don't use my phone ever.
Sure, but I'm sure many people, right, just take their phone away. Nothing else. Just take their phone from them.
Instagram,
and their
Snapchat,
life
they don't know what the fuck
is
to do.
now fucked. Right? That might be a good thing, that might be bad. I don't know how you want to think about that. But I can tell you this, that if you tell people that you're going to set up some sort of village somewhere where you're going to go, grow carrots and hunt for rabbit or something like that, this would be some sort of utopia, many people would flat out disagree with you on the spot.
Humans are social animals. That's the problem.
Okay.
They're social beings. Okay. That's our purpose.
So
is
don't
to
you
be
think
social.
If you're determining if they're social, right? Then
true.
Wouldn't it be natural for these tribes to I guess conglomerate into larger and larger tribes?
That's what's happened.
And make a city
That's what happened.
So it
But look at
sounds
how
like,
it's affected us.
It sounds like it's
We're all fucking
inevitable.
depressed. It's,
Okay,
it's
but-
inevitable, but
you're
like what
saying
it
that
does to
depression
us.
comes because of the infrastructure that we've created. But it seems like by your statements, this infrastructure comes as a result of the nature of people being, social animals.
But it
that
doesn't
are
have
gonna
to be an
cooperate.
infrastructure. It can just be a community.
But again, how do you make a community full of people without what
An
do you
infrastructure,
define
an
as
economy.
infrastructure, right? Like you want
Listen.
like houses with no roads,
No,
or
but listen, everybody's good at something. We all share our trades.
Okay.
That's what I believe in.
But
as
again,
an
that
infrastructure.
now
We all
initiates some
share
sort
our
of
traits.
infrastructure, does it not?
Of course, it introduces an infrastructure, but it doesn't have to be on the same level as this. We all have a trade that we're good at. Everybody has something that we're good at due to our past ancestors.
Well, that's actually not necessarily true either. There's many people who are not very good at anything.
No, everybody's good at something.
That's
I believe that.
strictly not true. You could believe that, but it's not
Okay,
true.
well, what do you believe in? That's like who's someone who's
I
not
don't
good
know,
at something?
I'm just asking you questions, but I can tell you someone with an IQ of 64 is probably not good at very many
Thank
things.
you so
if
much for
anything.
the ride.
Yeah, no problem. Take care, guys.
Alright,
Dude,
let's go.
I actually really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, same,
Honestly,
man.
I haven't
I
had a
really-
conversation like that
I
with
really
anybody in a
enjoyed
while.
listening to that conversation.
All right, well, if you want to
Thank
see
you so
more
much.
convos like this, you can follow the channel and
What's your
What's
name?
the channel?
UberTuber.
UberTuber. Oh wait, let me take a quick pic.
Am I gonna be on
Got
it?
you.
Yeah, you're gonna be on
Alright,
there.
let's
for
I
go.
sure.
respect that, dude. I hope you have a
Thank you so
fucking
much for a
great
good
night.
ride.
I'm
No
drunk.
problem,
This
guys.
isn't a real like conversation,
All right,
but
guys.
like I
Take
respect
care.
it.
No
Oh,
problem.
fuck. Have a good night, man.
Good
I
night.
appreciate you.